Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Highly Talkative, where we get high in conversation and discuss many topics from personal to community to anything that's going on in the world. So sit back, get cozy, and let me talk to you. Let's go. What's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Highly Talkative, hosted by your girl, A. Millie. Today is March 2nd, 2026, and let's jump into it, guys. So this week has been a very challenging mama week for me. Okay, let's put it like that. Kids grow, they learn, they test your patience, and let's just say this week my patience have literally been tested to the T, from my oldest to my absolute youngest, who is still enclosed in my belly and refusing to get ejected anytime soon, I'm presuming, because we're like T minus 8 days away from our original due date, and my girl is literally just in there chilling. So we'll see how this goes. My oldest, I had a little episode with him last week because he just, and I mean a little bit this week too, but he just does not listen. I had to take his phone. Then we had to talk about some things, and he had to get a better understanding as to why I was so upset and the things it meant behind, like why I was so upset and what I'm really expecting of him when it comes to certain things. Like I said, I know that they're growing and they're still learning, so I really try to be not as lenient, but as understanding as possible, but also be stern in what I'm trying to teach him and the lessons that I want him to learn, because I want to be confident that when my son has to go out in the world without me, he can make the right choices or the right decisions, or me at least knowing that I instilled that information in him, because I know he knows right from wrong, right? So after that little, whatever, we were able to talk about it. Like I said, I'm glad that we can, because there was a point in time where, I would just fuss at him and what I said is what I said and go on about your business, honestly. But therapy has helped me a lot with understanding that, other people have emotions too, especially my kids. And it's kind of, they get the same feeling we get as adults when we need to express something, but somebody's over talking us, or they're just being rude about us being able to express ourselves. So I just want to make sure I give my son that platform that he knows, like, yes, I'm your mom. Yes, I said what I said, but also at the end of the day, you still have a voice respectfully. Yeah. Um, so that was that with him. And then my youngest, I was literally telling people, like, over this past weekend, my youngest and my oldest, I have to parent them two different ways, right? My oldest has ADHD, so I have to understand, like, I have to repeat things to him constantly, but we also don't use that as a crutch. My youngest, he's just himself, right? He is a pure thoroughbred. I don't want to call him an a-hole, because my baby listens to this podcast, so baby, you're not an a-hole, but he is such a smartass. And I mean that literally and figuratively. He's very smart, but he also has a very smart mouth. And the sad part is, he doesn't mean to have a smart mouth. Like, he doesn't sit there and think about the smart shit that he's about to say before he says it. It literally just rolls off of his tongue. And sometimes it catches me and I'm ready to fire back. And then sometimes I look at him and I'm just like, bro, who's raising you? Like, you are literally your mom's child. Like, I just don't understand it. And I even tell him, like, oh, you really got a smart ass mouth. And he's like, okay, well, at least I'm smart. Like, no, it's not what the fuck I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I don't like the way you're responding to the questions that I'm having. They're not, the responses aren't appropriate for me. I need you to give me a better response than what you're giving me. That's what I mean by when I say you're being a smart ass. So that's just an example. And he's so independent and he's so stubborn, which causes him and his older brother to get into a lot of arguments, right? And when I say independent and stubborn, here is a prime example. Every time he takes a bath, I'm 100% guaranteed that there is going to be water on the floor. Usually, I'm not going to say I don't care, but it doesn't bother me because once I see it, I tell him to clean it up. He cleans it up. We're good to go. No problem. Well, the other night, his brother needed to take a shower, and my youngest had just got done taking a bath. So my oldest, I'm hearing them upstairs bickering and fussing and all of the above. So I finally yell up like, "Okay, y'all, what's the problem?" Because clearly the problem's not getting solved. So what's the problem? My oldest yells down. He just, the youngest just took a bath, and there's water all over the floor, and I'm asking him to clean it up, and he won't clean it up. So my youngest is trying to argue that he doesn't have water on the floor and that the oldest is basically lying. So I told my youngest, like, I'm 100% sure there's probably water on the floor because every time you take a bath, there's always water on the floor when you get done, which is why I always tell you, go clean up your mess. So all you have to do is go clean up your mess so your brother can go take a shower. You guys think this boy went to go clean up his mess? Absolutely did not. He didn't. He goes in the bathroom and he has a seat on the floor. So then his brother yells down that he's not doing what he asked him, like he's not doing what we asked him to do, like he's just sitting on the floor. So then I click, like I get upset. I'm yelling at him. I'm telling him I don't like his behavior. He needs to go clean up that floor and then he needs to go to bed, which in return, that's what he ended up doing because he didn't want to. And the crazy thing about him is he doesn't like getting in trouble. He doesn't like getting in trouble. He doesn't like me raising his voice at him. I can't, like, he's never got a whipping in his life because he's usually not on that, not on the verge of getting his ass whipped. So if I pluck him, if I even like pop him, like if he's doing something and I told him to stop, or like I'll give him a little nudge, or like I'll pop the back of the shoulder, I'm not gonna say it sets him off, but it makes him very emotional. Like that boy will cry as if I actually got a belt and I beat his ass, right? So I'm fussing at him and I'm fussing at him. I'm telling him he needs to get up and go clean that bathroom before I send him to bed. And if he keeps acting up, then I'm gonna whoop him. So he gets up and he cleans his mess, and then of course he comes downstairs and he has to plead his case. But at the end of the day, if you would have just did what I asked you to do, we wouldn't be here. So that's what I mean by he's very stubborn, but he's also very independent. Like, he doesn't want your help. He really wants to try to figure it out on his own. Like, even when we do homework, he's always like, "Can I try first? And then you can let me know what I did wrong." So they're like, I love my voice real bad, but I really learned like I just have to parent them differently. Like each child is literally different. Like the same way we tell these teachers out here, or like when we express ourselves, like, every child's not the same. Of course, you can't give like that direct one on one time with each child, but there's like certain ways that you have to handle certain children if you want certain outcomes. Same thing with coaching any sport. Like you really have to know your athletes in order to know like how to properly coach them and get the outcome from them that you really desire. That's really how mom life has been for me this week. Okay. So shout out to all the single parents who are dealing with everything that I'm dealing with. Shout out to all the two household parents that are dealing with with what I'm dealing with, because y'all got backup. Okay, I got to be my front and my back, and it sucks because sometimes I have to be so stern, but like the mama in me really just wants to be like, "Okay, guys, like please listen. This is really what I need." But I'm not trying to raise kids that are just gonna walk all over me just because it's just me. Like I'm not doing that shit. So just again, just F being the single. Shout out to all the parents, because let's be real, parenting is hard, but it's so worth the journey that we experience and all the obstacles that we run into, because at the end of the day, if I can be real, those obstacles teach us too. Like, we are first time parents to an extent. Like I said, every child is not the same. So every time you birth a child, you're literally going through step one all over again. It's like learning how to parent all over again because each child is so different. Although they come from the same mom, sometimes the same mom and same dad, each child is just so different. Like my son reminds me so, like my oldest reminds me so much of me. It's literally like a copy paste. Like I can't see myself duplicating me again because he acts just like me. Prime example, I would badger. I remember I would want something so bad, I would literally badger my mom about it until she caved in. And she really should have cursed me the fuck out because it's annoying. And now I'm going through it with my oldest, and I'd be ready to spaz out on him. But then I remember I used to do shit just like that. And it was annoying then, just like it is now. But my mom really had the patience with me. But I'm trying to have the patience with him, but I'm also trying to teach him like this is not okay. This isn't something that you should do. Once I say no, or once I say give me time, or if I say not yet, that's what I mean. The more you come back to me asking me in different ways or in different times isn't going to make me say yes any more than I've already said no. It's just going to piss me off. So let's not make me upset. Let's not make you upset. And let's just abide by the answer that I have already given you. Okay, I'm going to switch the topic now. Let's get off the kids, right? I was talking to some football moms, and we were basically just like discussing upbringings. And I think I told one of the football moms like how I'm really proud of her because of the fact that where she came from, she never gave up, and she never used that as an excuse as to why she couldn't do something. She always like made it her motivation as to why something needed to get done. And then it just made me reflect on my mother's childhood. And although I was not a part of that, and I don't know like certain things because I was not physically there like some of the other grandchildren were, but hearing the stories that I've heard about, the way my mom was brought up, and I even made the statement like, and I could be wrong, but some people probably wouldn't look at me and think that I come from the history that I come from. They probably think like everything's always been peaches and cream, handed down, whatever, whatever. But my mother really set a very, very strong foundation for me. And I think my mother also broke a lot of generational trauma. My mom surpassed a lot of that trauma, and like I said, just built a really good foundation to the point like wherein when I used to hear certain stories, like it would break my heart, yes, but when I was telling the story to my football moms, I was really kind of like breaking down, and not in the sense of taking away from somebody else's experiences and trauma, but not realizing like how much hard work that my mother actually put in to get away from where she was and to provide the lifestyle that I now have and I can give to my kids, and what she was able to do for her mom. And it literally just broke me down because it made me realize even more now. And it's sad because my mom is gone and I can't really express that to her. But it made me understand more now how much of a strong woman my mother really was. Hell, how much of a strong woman my mother really is, even though she is not here. Like, she had to see a lot of terrible things, had to endure a lot of things, but at the end of the day she set a goal for herself, and she surpassed that goal. She reached that goal. She did exactly what she said she wanted to do. And I think that's why I'm as determined and strong-willed as I am, because of her. And I wouldn't even look back at like where she came from. I would just look at the things that I could see her doing now. So when I was having that conversation with them, I was really just like in awe because it was a realization for myself that I never really knew that I needed, or a realization for myself that, what is the word? That I didn't even think that I needed to understand, or a realization that I didn't even know that I needed to speak about, because the emotions that came with that conversation was very not triggering, but it felt good to let out. And after I let it out and stuff and we got done talking, I was just like, "Ooh, yeah, that felt really good, guys. Like, I know this wasn't what we were supposed to be talking about, but thanks for, that little that little TED talk, you know. Let me just say this. I admire the people who really came from nothing, the people who were in terrible situations, the people who had a bad upbringing, people who came from foster care and still made a way. I admire y'all so much because, like I said, y'all didn't let that trauma or those circumstances be the reason why you couldn't do something. Y'all made those the reasons why you are doing what you're doing now and instilling what you're instilling and making the foundations that y'all are making. So, shout out to y'all. Like, life isn't easy, and y'all making it y'all bitch. I would just put it like that. And if I could be half the woman that my mother was, then I would be satisfied. And I think that's why I grind so hard because I don't want to let my mom down. She built such an amazing foundation. She instilled so many amazing things in me. I would be a fool to not apply those to my life and be the successful person that I wanted to be while she was here without her being here. So the grind don't stop. I got to keep going. I got to make her proud. I got to show her that everything she instilled in me, I want to instill in my kids and make that 10 times better. And we just keep elevating and elevating and elevating to the point where our kids are telling their kids about lifestyles that they, encountered and the hard times they encountered. But at the end of the day, they come from a strong line of women. And that's all I want. Because even my grandmother, shout out to her. My grandmother is a strong ass woman. Okay. She is so strong and resilient and funny as hell. I can't thank my mother and my grandmother enough for being the women who they are. So we're going to digress from there, and I'm going to talk about therapy. And you guys know I'm a strong stickler for therapy. I think I talk about therapy almost every episode that I have, and only because I go to therapy once a week, and I always see a difference in how I'm thinking or how I'm reacting or my actions after my therapy session and even before like my therapy session. Um, I even text my therapist during the week, and I was just letting her know how I had got some information, and instead of me taking it this way, I wrote down these bullets in my journal and I shared those with her. And she was even like, Ashley, this is really big how you can shift your mindset to thinking more positively than finding the negative in things, making, it much worse. But I'm coming to a good space where I can understand that, everything happens for a reason. For every no that's out there, no matter if it's you pushing your job or promoting your business and somebody's telling you no, or you're looking for a job and you keep getting no's, or you're getting interviews but you're not getting the jobs. Every no, there's a reason for the no. You don't have to find that reason because the universe is always going to show you. You just have to understand that for every no, there will be a yes. And that yes, don't take advantage of it. But you also have to put in that work to get that yes. You can't just manifest or you can't just pray and assume that what you're asking for is going to become fruitful just because you asked for it. No, you have to show the universe that you're really putting in the work for what you're asking for. You can maintain what you're asking for. You can handle what you're asking for. And what you're asking for, once you receive it, you're going to find ways to keep it and multiply from it. So therapy has really been working for me. It's been my coping mechanism. It's been the person I can talk to. It's been a sense of relief. It's been my support. It's been positive self-reflection for me. And like I said, I love that for me. Um, my oldest is in therapy too. And I'm kind of thinking about putting my youngest into therapy only because I think I'm maybe not oblivious, but I feel like he doesn't have much to really worry about. But then there are times where he randomly comes to me about missing my mom, and I'm not going to say he doesn't know how to express himself because he does, but he very rarely expresses like any type of anger or any type of hurt or any type of sadness, or I very rarely physically see that in his emotional changes or physique or anything like that. Like with my oldest, I can definitely tell when something is bothering him because he wears his heart on his sleeve, see it in his face. I can just tell it all in his energy. My youngest, I don't want to say, like, they are both happy children. I don't want to take that away from them. Like I said, my oldest wears his heart on his sleeve, so I can tell his emotions and his feelings and all of that. My youngest just goes about life as if everything's great. Like nothing is wrong unless he's getting fussed at. Like school's great, life's great, sports great, I'm great. But I also want him to know that if you're not okay, it's okay not to be okay. You don't have to mask that with something else. Like just let me know. But I don't know how to word that or give that information off to him. But I do think like one time I asked him because me and his older brother are in therapy. My oldest son gets therapy through the school. A counselor comes and get him out of his class like once a week, and they have discussions, and he always tells me how he likes it, and I love that for him because hopefully it's something that we can continue on. Like when school gets out, I can find him a therapist, or honestly, I should probably find him a therapist outside of school now, just so we can set that foundation and not waiting so long. But yeah, he enjoys it, right? And I think I've asked my youngest before if he wants to try therapy, and I let him know, like, mommy's in therapy, it's not a bad thing. And I think he said he would try it, but I'm gonna ask him again because I think it would just be a really good thing for everybody in the house because, like I said, my oldest has experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt and all of the above, where I know therapy would be a really good thing for him, a very good outlet, because at the age of 12, going on 13, he really has experienced a lot, from losing my mom to issues with his sperm donor to so much more. And I actually applaud him for being as young as he is and having the feelings that I know that he has, for continuing on and pushing on and overcoming a lot of obstacles that a lot of people didn't think that he would overcome. So I'm a proud mama. I'm a proud, hard working, hard trying to get these kids to learn lessons mama. Okay. And I dare anybody to try and take away from him, because if you know me, I don't play about my motherfucking kids, baby. I don't play about them. Changing the subject again because that was a lot. So let's switch it up, right? I got back into going to the chiropractor. I was having some issues with my insurance, but I finally got everything straightened out. So I hadn't been to the chiropractor in like almost, and no, in literally a month. So my back was killing me. Well, I finally got things straightened out with my insurance and everything, and I finally got to go to the chiropractor last week. And let me tell you something, baby. If you are pregnant, even if you aren't pregnant, go to a chiropractor. Like the sense of relief and like I don't even I be a loss for words, y'all. Sometimes like I think sometimes I be trying to use like bigger words than I really be needing to use, so then my brain goes into like a dumb mode where I don't know words at all. But that the chiropractor is the best sense of relief I could ever have when it comes to pregnancy and my alignments and my back hurting and the stress that I carry within, like, the stress you carry within your body and your muscles, all of that. So I go to a chiropractor out here where I stay at. Um, and they give you an hour massage. And then after that, they'll give you an hour for adjustment if you need it. And the massage does me great every time. I am knocked out in there during like the time with the masseuse. Their hands are magical. I can feel like the tension that they massage out of my muscles. I can literally feel as it releases. It's like my body just becomes so limp and so like, oh my God, that was it. Like you really got it. But the adjustment, let me tell you something. I used to be scared of going to the chiropractor because I would see how people get like their neck cracked and how they crack your back. And I'm like, y'all are doing this while I'm pregnant, but amazing. Like I was telling them how my back was hurting, but it's just on one side. They put me on the little machine and they're like, oh yeah, I can definitely tell that you're a little on the line, but we're gonna straighten that out for you. And they do their business and I'm walking out of there and I'm feeling like a whole new person. I feel like I can go run 2 whole miles if that's really what I wanted to do without my back hurting. And I think it's really because I do I don't do a lot of sitting, but I majority like when I'm laying down, I'm more comfortable on my right side. Um, Everything is my right side. I'm predominantly right-handed. Even when we go to basketball games and we're sitting on the bleachers, I think I'm putting most of my weight on my right side. Why? I don't know. Um, Especially when I'm in pain too. Like I'll put all my pressure on my right side because it's like putting that pressure there helps relieve me being in pain. I know that sounds weird, but it works for me. So I will say this again. If you're pregnant, even if you're not pregnant, fuck, just in general, visit a chiropractor. I'm telling you, like the way they adjusted me helped with my headaches, helped with my sinuses, it helped with my alignment. My back's not hurting anymore. I feel like I can go through the rest of this pregnancy like ready and out of pain. Although I am thinking about scheduling me another appointment next week if I don't have her this week. Okay. I'm really, y'all, manifest and put into the air for me the good juju that my girl just spontaneously comes. She will be here before 40 weeks, which is next week. Let's be for real. So she has 7 days to do her big one. And I don't want to do too much to like try to induce it because I want it to happen naturally. I have been eating dates. I don't eat six a day. I just feel like that's obsessive to do that. And I'm doing the raspberry leaf tea concoction where you do like raspberry leaf tea, cranberry juice, and pineapple juice. And supposedly you're supposed to drink like 3 to 4 of those a day, but I'm thinking like sugar intake because if I do 3 to 4 of those drinks a day plus 6 dates, and if y'all know anything about dates, dates are kind of sweet. So I'm just like, that's a lot of sugar. And then I already be having sweet tooth from time to time where I can take down like half a cake or like a dozen of cookies. So I really be trying to watch it. But I also said maybe I need to start going on walks. I do still work out from home. I didn't get much of a workout in last week. I think I worked out twice last week, but I don't incorporate a lot of walking. So I think I need to do that. Like after I drop the kids off or something, just go on like a 15, 20 minute walk, like 7.5 minutes out one way or 10 minutes out one way, and then come back the next 10 minutes and let that be that. So maybe if I incorporate more cardio, then, I can help jumpstart things like that as well without, like I said, I don't want to do anything too crazy. I also have an appointment today, so hopefully they can check me and see if I'm dilated any, and that'll also help me, figure out what steps I need to take from there. But knowing my body and the way that I don't feel like I'm dilated at all. Like, yeah, I don't want this to turn out like everything was going so great and then ended so terribly because I had to have a C-section. So I'm really putting it to the universe that my girl's going to spontaneously come. I'm going to get to experience labor. It's going to be a great experience for me. I'm not going to encounter anything negative, and we're going to be able to push this baby out, right? So that's just where I'm standing with that. And before I log off, I want to talk about a podcast that I've been listening to so far this week. And I honestly, I don't know how I didn't know she had a podcast because I really, really like this woman. Her name is Krista Renee, and she has the podcast Keep It Positive, Sweetie. If y'all don't know who Krista Renee is, she is one of the actors off of Sisters on BET by Tyler Perry, and she also has her spinoff show Zatima on BET by Tyler Perry. And I love those. I've been watching both shows since like season one, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna say addicted to them, but I be waiting for them hoes to come on. Okay, it's like me watching Baddies on Sunday. I'm waiting. I will wait and work out with them, not with them, but I'll wait and I'll work out. Like I think they come on Wednesdays. Hulu they drop on Thursday mornings, so Thursday mornings that's usually my workout routine. I mean my workout show. Like I won't listen to music. I'll sit there and I'll watch that show while I'm working out. Love, sisters. I mean, this season has been pretty slow. I'm not gonna cap. I really want them to hurry up and get to like the plot twist or the climax of the show. But for right now, it's moving pretty slow. So, Tyler, if you hear me, I'm not trying to rush you. I don't know shit about production, just a little bit because I have a podcast. But can you speed this thing along? Because I'm really trying to see where everything goes, okay? I'm trying to see what Rich end up doing if Danny and her mans get back together for real. What the salon finna look like with homeboy quitting the bank. Like, I'm just trying to see where it's gonna go. So I really just, can you speed it up just a tad bit? Got sidetracked. Y'all know I'm good at doing that. But Crystal Renee's podcast, Keep It Positive, Sweetie, right? I was listening to it and I'm like, holy shit. Like, why haven't I been listening to this podcast before? And I think I only listened to maybe 2 episodes this week. But the 2 episodes that I listened to, I wrote down like little bullets because listening to the episode, it really resonated with me. Um, like it literally reflected what my therapist and I had spoke about just that day. Um, and I was just like, okay, universe, come through, speak to me, send me signs that, my thought process is going down the right path and I'm actually doing the work and the actions to match what I'm manifesting and speaking about and putting into the universe. Right. So one of the things that I wrote down from her podcast when she was talking about, she was just like, enjoy the life that you have, right? Stop being envious of what others have. Stop looking at what others have and wishing you had it. Enjoy what you have right now because you could not have what you already have. For example, say a house. You are in a house, your bills are paid for, you know, there's not really much that you can ask for when it comes to the house that you have, but you see your friends with all these homes and they're beautiful homes and they're big homes and now you're envious because you wish you had that, but you have a house. So enjoy it. Be grateful for it, right? Everything isn't meant to be ours when we want it or how we want it, but you have it in a sense. So enjoy that and be thankful. Then she said, real friends support one another. And she was basically talking about with her co host how, when she sees her friends doing something, she supports them. Even if it's like them having a comedy show and she can't make it, she's still going to buy like X amount of tickets just to support that show. And then it made me think, you know what? They're absolutely right. Like real friends support one another. And it doesn't have to be support in the sense of like, okay, yeah, I'm buying your tickets. It can literally be support in the sense of, let me share your podcast. I may not really listen to it, but let me throw it on my Apple podcast and let me get you an extra stream. Let me help you in a sense. I may not really be listening to it, but the fact of the matter is that I'm supporting you and I'm streaming it, right? So it just really made me think like, yeah, those are those are kind of facts. Like I really appreciate the friends who really support me. Like I don't know how to explain it. And I'm not going to say I know the ones who really support me, but I have a very good general idea of the ones who are very supportive of what I'm doing and really want to see me make it to where I know I can be. And that's only because I'll send them the link to my podcast. And by the end of that day, I'm getting feedback, whether it's, girl, that was a really good podcast. I really like how you did this. Or if it's hey, maybe next time you should talk about this instead, or X, Y, and Z. I love the support because you're putting that stream out there for me. You're helping me elevate. You're helping me, get into doors that I'm trying to get into and never thought I would be in just by simply listening. And I appreciate that. Listening, subscribing, sharing, any of those things that help support me, I appreciate because I'm always supporting others. And I think that's kind of like where my little downfall is because I'm a big stickler on supporting people I really care about and things that they do. But then I see that that same support isn't given in return. But I don't want to change who I am because I notice you're not doing for me what I would do for you. Because at the end of the day, I don't really think it would make a difference, right? They already have like the support system, so one less supporter wouldn't really make a difference for them, whereas to like one less supporter for me, I'm not going to say it's detrimental, but it impacts me a lot. So I really just be like, Yeah, I kind of understand that. I see where you're coming from, and we're gonna have to make some changes. um, then she was talking about like how you should put your home in a trust. And I've heard this before, and she was saying I think Tyler Perry told her this information that you need to put your home in a trust and not just put it in a will because wills have to get probated and it's just a lot of extra work that goes into somebody having a will. But like I said, this isn't my first time hearing about putting something in a trust. And then it just had something click in me where I'm just like, okay, I wonder what the process of that is. I wonder how much that costs. Like, I wonder what all you can put in a trust and what's the difference between a trust and a will. Do you need both? Like, you know, so that kind of gave me a little bit of something to look into and kind of do a deep dive and really see what I can figure out from there. She also talked about you get what you want from the universe. Excuse me. She also said, get what you want, the universe will keep providing. So basically saying, like, as long as you do the work, you deserve to have the nice things. Um, don't know, like, when you know what you want out of something, make sure that that's what you go get because at the end of the day, the universe is still going to provide for you. So if you knew for a fact that you wanted a 2026 or 2027 Kia Telluride, all black, with a sunroof, with X, Y, and Z interior, this, that, and the third. If this is something you know that you want, go get that. It might take a little bit of time for you to find that, but go get it. Because then you don't want to purchase a different type of vehicle and then not be satisfied with what you get in the long run because that's not really what you wanted. So be patient and scope out the things that you say you really want and go get that. Because at the end of the day, if you don't go get what you really want, you're always going to second guess if what you have is really that satisfaction of what you've been saying. Um, and felt that because, I mean, I've learned that lesson before and it's not, it's a good lesson to learn, but it's not a good feeling because when you do something like that, you become envious and you become not spiteful, but it's like a damn, I really wish I would have got this instead, or damn, I really wish I did that instead. And that's just not the type of mindset or thought process that I want to have. So, best believe if I want something, what I want is what I'm going for and what I'm going to get. I'm not settling for anything else. She also touched on blessing people. You got to bless people, right? If you get blessings and you put in, like, you get what you're asking for from the universe, it's only right to provide that to somebody else. It's only right to make sure that, you give to other people. And not because you have to, but because that's something that you want to do. It's something that was in your heart and you want to do that because at the end of the day, when you bless other people, bigger blessings come back to you. So I felt that it wasn't something that I didn't know. What's up, brother? Where'd y'all stop at? Fat boy. Fat boy. Don't look at me like that. All right, go eat your food and then get your bathroom and stuff cleaned up. I don't care what you do, but that bathroom need to be clean. And just because you clean it, don't mean I'm finna take you nowhere. I like your haircut. You need to pick it out and all that other stuff. Yeah, I know it's. No, I don't. I'm gonna make you cut it. Yeah, that's snappy. It's not combed out. Okay, so go comb it out, and I'm not gonna ask you again. Love you. Bye. All right, sorry guys. My oldest just got home. He got a haircut, and he's filming himself. Um, then they also touched on something where I want to say I got this right, but the co-host is like he lives by this motto when I think, which basically saying like, remember and you'll never get comfortable. When you remember where you came from, you'll always have a motivation to keep pushing to do better. So when you think about that, you think where you are now. You think that you're not in the same situation or the same circumstances that you used to be in. And even me saying that right now has me thinking about my past and how far I've come. And it has me being very thankful for the work and the growth that I've put in, even if nobody else sees it. So that was a very strong and powerful, like, four worded sentence. When you think, you thank. 5 word sentence. And like I said, it hit, because even with me expressing that to y'all now, I can literally, like I said, think about all of the trials and tribulations that I've been through and be thankful for not being in that same position and being where I am now, and still having the ability to want to do better. And the last one that you kind of touched on kind of really hits home with me too, because I've been in past relationships where this has kind of been a thing for me. And that's, if you can't give me what I already give to myself, there's no point of moving forward in any of this. And I say that because in my past relationships, I've always been the one to see the better in somebody, who wants to help somebody get to where they're trying to go, but always ended up with the shit end of the stick. And at the end of the day, those boys couldn't really provide to me what I was already giving to myself. So I was really taking away from me to give to them, and I was left empty handed. And I just came to the point where, in these like last 2 years, where I really lived by that motto: if you can't give me what I already have, I don't need you around, because you're just dead weight. And I'm not dealing with that. And that might sound harsh, but at the end of the day, I'm entitled to feel that way, just like anybody's entitled to feel the way that they feel. If you can't do for me like I can do for myself, then there's no point of really having you around. And I'm just going to leave it on that note right there, because I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to think about that last portion, as well as when I think, because those are very, very important mottos. So I'm going to cut you guys off there. Okay. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. I know today is Monday, but let's have y'all a really good Monday. Don't let anybody stress y'all out. Y'all push through this week and make this week your bitch. You guys can follow me on Instagram at highly.talkative. Follow me on Facebook at highly talkative. I also have Snapchat at highly.talkative. You can listen to me on all major platforms. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. You can also go to rss.com and search Highly Talkative Podcast, and you can select the streaming service that you would like to listen to me on. Remember, it takes nothing to support somebody coming up. Like, share, subscribe, and you guys have a great week. I'm out. Deuces.